Is buying a deal subject to the existing loan? Is that even legal? Hey, great question. Let me break it down for you. So, buying a deal subject to the existing loan, what it looks like is the title, ownership will transfer from the seller to the buyer, but the loan that the seller has, let's just say it's with Chase, the loan stays in place, and that loan is tied to the seller, right? It's tied to their credit, all of that. But the title is going to transfer to the buyer, but the loan stays in place. An agreement is made where the buyer will make the payments on the seller's behalf. And some people say, how can you sell a house that has a loan on it and not pay off the loan? Great question. It is possible. Now, there are some risks with it. It's important that you understand that buying and selling subject to is not for all sellers and it's not for all buyers. That's a different video for breaking down the risk and understanding who is a good fit for. But let's talk about, is it legal? Now, I'm not an attorney and I definitely don't even play one on YouTube or on the internet. But I want to show you something, and this is something that is set up by the federal government. I did not call them and ask them to put this there in this video, but if you guys are just listening, this is going to be another one of those things where I'm going to show something on my screen. So it's actually helpful if you want to see it. If not, just listen along and register this in your memory. So I'm going to show you something. So let me just go ahead, put this on pause, and I'm going to pull this up. So right here, what I have is if you see at the very top, you'll see it says HUD.gov. So HUD, the Housing and Urban and Development, right? They've got this settlement statement, a HUD 1. And this is what is used when doing a closing transaction that title companies, if you've ever done a closing transaction, you're familiar with these, where they're basically, it's all the plus and minuses and the allocations for both buyers and sellers whenever there is a sale of real estate. So this is most frequently used when doing a closing. If you look here, again, this came off of HUD.gov, right? This is literally just look it up yourself, a HUD 1 settlement statement. And if you come down here, one side is going to be so if you see the borrower side, so the buyer, and then the seller side, you'll see here line 203 on the buyer side, existing loans taken subject to. Okay, so this is where they would allocate that if there's a loan taken subject to, they would allocate that this is where it would go in on the line item. Now, if a seller is selling, they would account for it here in line 503 on their side, and they would line up. So basically, this is something that is used again for documenting a closing transaction. Title companies, attorneys, they use it all the time. Again, I did not call HUD. They did not just add this just for me. This has been around, guys, subject to transactions, specifically buying subject to and selling subject to existing loans staying in place is not new. It's been around for decades. The earliest I'm aware is in the 1960s because my mentors was doing this in the 1960s and 1970s. But I would like to propose it's probably been around earlier than that. So with that being said, this is a line item here. So keep in mind, this is something that the feds, right, the federal government has allowed to be on their settlement statement. Now, a lot of people will say, Courtney, they'll say, Courtney, this is, and I'm going to stop my sharing my screen here, but this is, I just don't understand how this can be legal. Let me just give you a principle that comes down in the creative real estate world, which is a confused mind says no. And sometimes even a confused mind says that's illegal. You see, a lot of times people jump to that conclusion when they don't understand it. And so it's important to understand that literally I had a real estate broker that I got tagged in this post. They were saying how, man, I'm getting all these subject to offers on my listings. That's like, I don't even know how that can be legal. And I got tagged and I said, hey, I don't know you, would love to get to know you. You're a local broker in my area. But I'd be happy to share something that shows that it's not legal. Would you be open to hearing it? And well, anyway, he blocked me and deleted my comment. So understand that some people, even if you show them proof, they don't care. But the question there, but the question still remains, is this something that you can legally do? That broker went on to say that they had called a few attorneys, and those attorneys it almost alluded that they were negative towards subject to. And there's a difference between someone not preferring it or addressing the risk and saying something is illegal. And so that's important too. And so I'll be very honest, I've had a lot of attorneys, real estate related attorneys, contact me because of the rise of popularity in subject to over the recent years, and with questions. They're like, hey, it's an assumption, right? I was like, no. And I've got about 12 to 15 law books in my study in the other room. And I'm like, look, man, I bet you they only covered this in, you know, short, brief amounts. And actually attorneys have, confirmed that for me when they were in law school in this part of title and law, it was very briefly covered talking about subject to. I'm going to link in this video a video I did with a real estate attorney, which I've done a number of them, and we've discussed from different states, both Louisiana, I think North Carolina and Ohio, where we talked about subject to. I'm going to link one of them up here at the end of this video. So if you want to watch an attorney speak about subject to, that's important as well. So this is another day, another video. I hope this helps showing you the federal HUD-1 statement from the government's website, showcasing that this is something that is indeed possible and doable. The more you know, you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys don't know, one video a day for the first 100 days of 2025. Today's another day, another video. Appreciate y'all tuning in.